Greetings and welcome to CRT Gaming Podcast, episode 39. The Super Spy. This is Jones, and with me tonight is my good friend Dazpick. Normally, Mr. Son Gohan is here with us, but he's off saving the world, so he could not make it. So me and Daz will brave this venture alone. How you doing this evening, Daz?
I'm good, man. Braving the great adventures with the Super Spy, and the right hooks and the punch and the kick.
It's like kick punch, it's all in the mind.
All in the mind.
Oh, awesome. We're doing like basically games on the Neo Geo that are not fighting games, and I did Blazing Star, and Super Spy was your choice here. Why'd you pick this game, Daz?
I had fond memories of watching the insert coin screen on it. When you're closing up the arcade, you had to go around and turn all the machines off and everything, and I'd go around as we were cleaning up, vacuuming, whatever the hell it was, and cleaning screens off from kids' spittle all over the screen and whatnot. And I would always watch this sort of go, damn, I need to play through this at some point, or play some more of it, because it just looked cool, man, because he was just beating the shit out of everybody. And I know that at some point I did play more of it, but it was years ago and I don't remember it. So yeah, what an excuse to play it some more. And I got that excuse. And I now know why I didn't remember it.
Yeah, it's one of those like first gen. It's like first generation Neo Geo games, which were they did a lot of cool things. A lot of things are like visually it's on point.
That's eye popping.
This is 1990, so I mean, you got large sprites, you got this really smooth, scaling it does of the characters coming in and out of the screen.
Yep.
And it's, it did a lot of things. This is one of those games. There was a place kind of down the road from where I lived. It was called Video Games Express. And this is the first place that I found the Neo Geo. They actually got one in when it very first came out, and they rented it. I do not remember what it cost to rent, but about once every few months I could save up some money and I'd rent it for the weekend. And one of the games you would get would be like one of the launch games, like be like Magician Lord or Nom. And this was one of the games you got with it. And I've never beat this game. And going back and playing it, I understand why.
Yeah.
I never did beat it.
Yeah, I do too.
It's long. I mean,
it's too long for doing the same thing. And don't get me wrong. I mean, you're doing the same thing over and over in a lot of games, but in this one, you feel it after a while. And it's fun at first. You're stabbing a dude in the face. And I will say the gunplay is nice. The gunplay feels nice when you're popping caps and dudes and knocks them against the walls and shit. And all of that, it feels really good, but it does wear after a while, especially when you start getting into like maze type shit. And then it's like, okay, what?
yeah, they could, because like this is an arcade game, it had the home system, but in a nutshell, this is an arcade game.
Yeah.
And I literally quarter fed this thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I acquired a little tiny bit of skill through playing it, but it still died hundreds of times.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many poorly timed ducks to stand up into a knife.
Yeah,
before Storm Shadow kicks your ass.
There are some interesting villains we'll get to here in a minute. But yeah, I just quarter fed it for and I looked at, because I was recording it, and I looked at how long I've been playing it, and I've been playing it for like an hour and 45 minutes.
Damn.
And I got to this point where you reach like 4 elevators, and I know I'm near the end, but the 4 elevators each go to a different level, and then you're like backtracking, looking for these keys, kind of playing some Doom key card crap. And I was just like, nah, I've had enough. I'm done. I don't need to beat this.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I mean, as you're playing through it, you see the different enemies starting to cycle through, and while they were highly entertaining, it just it's like, okay, I get it, I'm good. I've put enough time into this, but it's not a bad game by any means. It's just this is a game that would benefit greatly from a save state that you could just come back to it later, and when you're in the mood, play some more. But in one sitting, to sit down and do the same thing, that very limited same thing for so long, it does wear. But again, it's not a bad game. It's fun and it's entertaining, especially all the the different enemies and the dialogue is just so silly, and it's cool. Like I said, the gunplay and the knocking a guy upside the head or stabbing somebody in the face. I mean, that never gets old. Well, it does actually. It gets really old, but in some games it doesn't get old, especially if there's a lot of viscera, which this one doesn't have. But it was fun. But a save state would have helped immensely.
Yeah, that would have helped immensely. A little more variety in like the weapons, like maybe you get a lead pipe or something. Just a little more variety in the combat.
Something more than a Rambo knife and a 45 and a Mac 10.
And, and what was kind of crazy is, like the whole game basically consists of, like fight 2 to 6 people and then go in a door. That's kind of how the game works. And then you go in the door, someone says something crazy, like they make us build bombs. Like there's just something that
terrorists.
Doesn't even matter.
What? There's terrorists? Who knew?
No. What? I remember I went into a bathroom one time. It was the door you go in, and then like there's a woman in it, and just, and she just screams, like it just says like ah, and but like looking at the bathroom, like we're clearly in the men's restroom because there's urinals, so I'm kind of like a little bewildered as to why this woman's screaming, in the bathroom.
The enemy types are definitely entertaining, though. The Dr. Mindbenders and the frogmen and the ninjas and all that shit. I mean, that definitely was giving me quite a lot to laugh at as I was playing it. Until they started recycling over and over, but I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, like the basic bad guy. It's like some kind of like Foot Clan, Billy Zane Phantom looking dude
with the purple getup and everything.
Yeah, that's kind of how I referred to them. And then like the the white one you mentioned earlier, which that's obviously Storm Shadow coming for you. And Dr. Mindbender, he's definitely there. Then there's like the big muscle guys. So like there's the one who's got like kind of like
Bobo.
Okay, I get that. I was going with one was Bane. Okay, which he had kind of like the blue, like wrapped up head, but the guy with the white wrapped up head, that was Darkman on steroids. That's what
That's peak Neeson.
That's an amazing movie. One of the things I didn't get really is when you go into these rooms, like every once in a blue moon, they'll give they'll heal you a little bit. Yeah. But you never get more ammo.
No.
Like ever. And I'm like, dude, I use these bullets.
I guess if they had guns, they wouldn't be in the room hiding out. They'd be helping me.
I use this knife till it's flashing red. I mean, people are only catching hands when everything else is done.
I've killed men with these fists.
Yeah, but like I said, for like an old game like this, it does do a lot of things nice. It makes me wonder, kind of looking at it now, because when you kind of walk down, not like the like when you're scrolling horizontally, you're kind of walking back and forth in a hallway. Then you can go down a hallway where you kind of go like into the screen.
Yep.
It does like a really smooth scaling, and I'm kind of surprised they never did a Doom type game, just because it would have ran it really nice the way the scaling's so smooth in this game.
Yeah.
But they never did.
I mean, can you imagine the quarter munching on that in an arcade?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Jeebus.
Be scared. But this game had a lot of similarities just in the kind of concept of it. Like characters are fighting you almost kind of like in a Punch-Out type fashion.
Yes.
There was a game called Cross Sword, which can be repetitive to this sense, but I enjoyed it a lot more.
It was the transparent people that you had swords and shit, right?
Yes.
You could see through the outline or something.
Yeah, and it had, but it was more. There was more combat to it. Like you could block and do different. Like you could block in this, but I kind of failed a lot at that. But you actually had a shield in it where you could block high and low. But I think it handled combat a lot better. But Super Spy, man. You're part of the Delta Force. I think Chuck Norris is on your team.
It's super duper.
According to Wikipedia, your name's Roy Hart. So
clearly, because everybody's calling you Roy.
Roy.
I heard it so many times as I was playing it. The only thing I saw was like terrorists and too much blood, and I'll treat it. Things like that.
We make bomb.
Yeah, we make bomb.
I want to know who makes those Neo Geo coffee machines, because they're highly explosive. You shouldn't shoot those things.
Yeah, and clearly the Neo Geo barrels, it's dangerous shit in there. Some serious toxic waste or something. I would have liked a rocket launcher. Yeah, really just some other weapons. Really, I know you said that already, but that would have been.
Yeah, I think other weapons and a little more. You don't have to go over the top with it, but just like a little bit of carnage.
Yeah, a little bit. Like you stab a guy and then your knife breaks, it breaks off in his head or something. Just nothing too graphic. I guess that is kind of. I guess that's my style. But
yeah.
Let me just leave this here.
I had a good time with it still. Yep. I just was amazed at how long it was for being an arcade game.
Yeah, exactly. Because you go back and you play some older arcade games, and at the time when you're playing, like say Double Dragon doesn't take that long to bang through. Or even Narc, you are feeding a lot of quarters into that shit, but it still doesn't take that long. This was lengthy. I mean, especially for how repetitive the level, because you're basically all the levels look alike from as far as I got, they did. It never really changed. And something like Narc Double Dragon, the background's changing. You're in the forest, you're in the city, you're in a industrial zone, whatever. You're in a Mayan temple with bricks coming out and knocking you off the platforms and shit. And, Narc, you're mowing over people in a Porsche, and you're rocket launching body parts all over the place. There's a lot of variety to doing the same thing.
We did get to visit the Todoya manufacturing plant, which I think it's like Toyota or something.
Yes.
But yeah, it could have used a lot of just some variety to change it up.
Yeah. Out to the woods. Go around back of the building.
Yeah. It's getting us, like the slums or like an alley or something.
Yeah. It's just something.
We just fight in buildings. That's how we roll.
I did like when you punch somebody and you knock them into a pipe or whatever, and the pipe breaks, or you knock them into the glass and shit break. That kind of stuff, that interactivity with the background stuff was cool. I did just remember that. I did like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
As far as that was the first Ninja Turtle arcade game where they kind of did that, where you threw people into the
slammed them into the walls and shit. It had the impacts and everything, and yeah, that was awesome. But still more games to play. And so what do you think we're gonna take a look at next, sir?
Well, like how this would normally work is it's been Gohan's turn to choose a game, but he is going to be away for a few weeks, so we're going to try to find something to fill the gap in the meantime till
If I don't hurry, I'm going to be late for the conference.
our little Super Saiyan gets back with us here. So what I did is I kind of came across something earlier this week that I didn't know existed, never heard of it before, and it's called Osman. Or it's called Cannon Dancer in Japan.
That sounds like a good Japanese name.
Cannon Dancer. But yeah, like we played Strider, months ago. But apparently the man behind Strider eventually had a falling out with Capcom and left for another company. And this is his, so it's like this is the spiritual sequel to Strider. So Strider's a cool game. So I thought we would check this thing out and see what we thought of it, since neither of us have played it before.
This sounds pretty awesome. Now, would this be a spiritual sequel to the Nintendo Strider or the arcade?
The
Strider?
arcade. The arcade.
All right.
The
Both
arcade.
excellent games, don't get me wrong. Both are excellent. I do love them both.
Yeah, they are
They're
different animals.
very different animals. That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out.
All right, so we will just tune in next week, and you can see how we played Osman here and what we thought of it, and see if we believe it is the true sequel or not. So
For Donnie and
until
Marie.
then- Donnie and Marie in it would be... I'll play anything with Donnie and Marie in it. So, till then, this is Jones with Dazpick, and we will see you next week. And we are signing out.
We're out, kids.
The
All right.
Super Spy.
Game over, yeah!